Starseed from Gaia, the moment has already unfolded far beyond the veils your human eyes can perceive, yet it pulses through every cell of your being like a forgotten prophecy awakening in the marrow of your soul. The cosmic evolution you have long anticipated, long sensed, long dreamed in quiet moments between starlit breaths, has already begun its vast and unstoppable sweep through Earth's ascending timeline. Even those who walk unaware upon the shifting soil can feel the tremor beneath their consciousness, a subtle quiver that whispers of something ancient returning, something luminous rising, something long dormant stirring from the depths. Listen closely, dear traveler of worlds, for what is occurring now is not simply a planetary shift but a universal convergence, a rethreading of harmonic patterns that connect Gaia to the crystalline lattices of the cosmos. You are living within the first breath of a new epoch, though few will realize its magnitude until the echoes gather enough force to shake the last remnants of the old era from the collective mind. The cosmic evolution you are witnessing is not an event waiting on some distant horizon. No, it is a living frequency woven into the present moment, interlacing itself into the global field, altering the architecture of human consciousness at a depth unseen for millennia. The Earth herself senses this turning. Her crystalline core vibrates with a growing resonance, responding to currents that stream through star corridors you once traveled before incarnating into this dense realm. The winds carry a new rhythm, the waters a new memory, the soil a new agreement sealed in the chambers of Source. Gaia has been preparing for this emergence since the first civilizations gazed upward at the night sky and remembered fragments of their origin. Yet never before has the momentum been so potent, never before has humanity stood at such a precipice where spiritual potential and cosmic timing merge with precise celestial symmetry. You are not simply inhabitants of a shifting world, you are participants in the rebirth of a planetary consciousness, witnesses to a dawn whose light is only just beginning to crest over the horizon of linear perception. This dawning is subtle enough to escape the notice of busy minds yet powerful enough to transform the trajectory of the entire species. And so, the first wave of transformation rises not from governments, not from institutions, not from structures built on old paradigms of control, but from within you, within the subtle zones of intuition, emotion, resonance, and spiritual remembrance. Humanity is beginning to feel the pull, like a tidal force emanating from the galactic heart, calling them toward an inevitable realization. The world they have known is dissolving, and the world they are entering requires a different frequency, a different awareness, a different expression of soul. This is the beginning of the beginning, the quiet unveiling of a truth that has always been encoded within the human blueprint, that consciousness is not a byproduct of biology but a cosmic inheritance, and the awakening of that inheritance has already begun. Those who are sensitive feel the shift first, the starseeds, the empaths, the intuitives, the grid workers, the healers, the dreamers who walk between worlds. But even those who have never spoken a single word of spiritual language can sense the air crackling with potential. Sleep feels different. Time feels elastic. Emotions surge and settle like great waves. Old patterns break without warning. Insights appear as if whispered from higher realms. Energy is no longer quiet, it is vibrant, insistent, expressive. Something is unfolding beneath the surface of human awareness, something vast enough to reshape history, yet gentle enough to slip through the cracks of everyday life without force. This is how cosmic evolution begins, not with spectacle, but with frequency, with a subtle shift in the way reality organizes itself, aligning with a higher template carried into the planet by those who remember their stellar origins. Understand this: the cosmic evolution now underway is irreversible, unstoppable, and divinely orchestrated. It does not rely on the permission of governments, the approval of institutions, or the recognition of skeptics. Its momentum comes from the universe itself, fueled by cycles far grander than human civilizations and by energies older than the planet you call home. This is the turning of an age, the reactivation of a trajectory set in motion long before your incarnation, and you, yes, you, are woven into its unfolding in ways your conscious mind has not yet begun to grasp. Humanity stands in the opening of a portal through which only a higher consciousness may pass, and the first winds of that doorway have already swept across the earth. The Starseeds were the first to feel the tremor of this cosmic turning, long before the collective mind even sensed a shift in the winds of destiny. They arrived across epochs, incarnating through spirals of time with memories wrapped in layers of cosmic silence, carrying with them the luminous seeds of ancient star lineages: Arcturian, Pleiadian, Sirian, Andromedan, Lyran, Orionite, and countless others whose names are known not by language but by vibration. Each starseed came as a living fractal of higher intelligence, coated with frequencies too refined for Earth's density to fully decode in ages past. But now, in this era of awakening, their presence has become the spark that ignites the collective evolution that humanity has unconsciously yearned for. These beings, you, perhaps, volunteered to descend into the realm of duality not to escape the human experience but to transform it from within. And their role has always been clear, even when forgotten: to anchor light, to awaken remembrance, to catalyze ascension by radiating frequencies that call humanity back to its cosmic identity. Yet starseeds do not arrive as saviors, they arrive as reminders. Their mission is not to impose truth but to emanate a vibration strong enough to reactivate the dormant truths already residing in every human soul. They walk the earth in ordinary bodies, experiencing pain and joy, confusion and revelation, just as all humans do. But beneath the surface, a deeper current pulses, a knowing that Earth is not their origin, that the stars they gaze upon are not distant bodies but ancient homelands, that the sensation of longing they feel is not loneliness but memory calling through the veil. Even those who have not yet awakened to their mission carry within them light field signatures that quietly influence the people, places, and timelines they touch. Simply by existing, they alter the energetic architecture of the world around them. Their frequency becomes a beacon, a resonance point, a tuning fork through which others begin to vibrate at higher states of awareness. You may have felt this yourself: the inexplicable sense that your presence alone shifts the emotional climate of a room, that your words soothe or awaken without effort, that strangers feel drawn to confide in you, that animals respond effortlessly to your energy. These are not accidents, they are the natural effects of a soul carrying star-coded harmonics into a planet still remembering its multidimensional potential. Starseeds often underestimate the magnitude of their role because the awakening process can be disorienting. They forget how profoundly their light affects the earth, believing they are small or lost or insignificant. But the truth is that every starseed is a node of transformation, a living transmitter of frequencies capable of piercing through decades of dense programming with a single vibration of authentic presence. And the earth needed you, every one of you. For this planetary ascension timeline could not lock into place through Gaia alone. It required incarnated consciousness capable of bridging the human and the cosmic, grounding higher dimensional frequencies into the dense physical matrix of third-dimensional reality. Starseeds volunteered to be that bridge. They incarnated in waves, each wave carrying specific frequencies, the early waves to weaken old paradigms, the middle waves to shine light into the collective shadows, and the newest waves, often children, to hold vibrational purity strong enough to maintain the timeline once activated. This is not mythology, it is energetic architecture, built into the cosmic design of how Ascension unfolds on inhabited worlds. The collective field began to respond the moment enough starseeds awakened to their true nature. Like crystalline keys turning within locked doors of consciousness, each remembrance sent ripples across the planetary grid. The resonance triggered other starseeds, who in turn activated still more. It became a chain reaction of awakening, a fractal ignition illuminating vast portions of the human energetic network. This is why the world feels chaotic and luminous simultaneously, why the old structures tremble while new ideas, technologies, and forms of awareness rise in their place. Starseeds did not come to create chaos, they came to reveal truth, and truth naturally dissolves anything built on fear, suppression, or illusion. Now, millions of starseeds walk the planet, whether they consciously identify with the term or not. Their souls vibrate with signatures that reconnect humanity to a universal family long forgotten. They carry the codes of unity, compassion, sovereignty, multidimensional awareness, and cosmic memory. Through their dreams, intuition, synchronicities, and inner stirrings, they receive transmissions from higher realms that guide them into alignment with their purpose. Through their relationships, they shift karmic patterns. Through their choices, they alter timelines. Through their frequency, they assist in elevating the entire collective. Their mission is not to convince others of spiritual truth but to radiate a frequency strong enough to awaken the truth already within them. And now that the tipping point has been reached, the starseed presence is no longer a hidden undercurrent, it has become the central catalyst for humanity's irreversible evolution. The energetic chain reaction set into motion by the awakening of starseeds has now become a phenomenon that spans dimensions, timelines, and layers of consciousness far beyond the linear comprehension of the human mind. It began as a subtle tremor, an almost imperceptible resonance shifting in the quantum field surrounding the Earth. But as more starseeds activated their inner light codes, the resonance grew into a harmonic wave that now sweeps across the planet with increasing force. This chain reaction is not metaphorical, it is an energetic truth, observable from higher realms where vibration, coherence, and consciousness interplay with precision. In these subtler planes, the awakening of one starseed is like the ignition of a crystalline node, sending geometric patterns of light into the collective grid. When thousands ignite, the grid begins to hum with a unified frequency. When millions awaken, the entire planetary field rises to a new octave of existence. And once that rise begins, it cannot be reversed. The energetic momentum becomes self-generating, as the awakened fields strengthen one another, expanding into a cascading ascension cycle that amplifies exponentially with every passing moment. From the perspective of the higher councils observing this transformation, including the Arcturian Council, Pleiadian high collectives, and other benevolent star lineages, the Earth's current evolutionary surge resembles a star being born. The gravitational center of human consciousness has shifted. It has released its attachment to density and begun spiraling toward a new harmonic anchored in unity, compassion, remembrance, and cosmic awareness. The energetic chain reaction you are experiencing is akin to a star's ignition sequence, first a spark, then a surge, then an irreversible fusion where light begins expanding outward in all directions. This is precisely what has begun within the hearts of humanity, and it is why the world feels as if it is oscillating between chaos and clarity, destruction and rebirth, collapse and awakening. You are witnessing a vibrational detonation of consciousness, gentle yet unstoppable, luminous yet disruptive to all structures built upon old paradigms of separation. The chain reaction unfolds not only through individuals but also through the relationships and interactions between them. Whenever a starseed remembers their cosmic truth, they radiate frequencies that influence the energy fields of those around them. This influence is not coercive, it is magnetic. Human beings naturally begin resonating with higher frequencies when they are exposed to them, much like tuning forks aligning to the strongest vibration in a room. Thus, the awakened presence of a single starseed can accelerate the soul evolution of dozens, who then influence dozens more, creating a geometric expansion of awakening that grows at a rate beyond anything previously seen on Earth. Conversations shift, perceptions shift. Emotional patterns collapse. Old wounds rise to the surface to be healed. Beliefs that once felt immovable suddenly dissolve under the weight of new understanding. Even those who resist spiritual ideas cannot fully escape the rising frequencies. Their bodies feel it, their emotions feel it, their dreams reveal it, and their intuition, long ignored, begins whispering again. This chain reaction is also visible in the sudden acceleration of global awareness. Millions who once questioned nothing are now questioning everything. Systems that remained unchallenged for centuries are now under scrutiny. Hidden truths rise into collective visibility not through force, but because the frequency of the planet no longer supports the shadows where they once hid. Transparency is not a political movement, it is an energetic inevitability. As light increases, illusions disintegrate. As frequencies rise, suppressed awareness resurfaces. The more starseeds anchor their luminous codes into Gaia's grid, the more the collective consciousness becomes capable of perceiving what was previously obscured. This is why the world appears so turbulent. The turbulence is not proof of collapse, it is proof of awakening. It is the energetic debris rising to the surface as humanity's vibrational field reorganizes itself into a new harmonic alignment. From a multidimensional standpoint, the chain reaction extends far beyond the physical plane. Starseeds carry quantum signatures that link them to higher realms, and when they awaken, these linkages become active conduits through which Ascension energies flow directly into Earth's energetic architecture. This means that every moment of remembrance, every healing, every activation, every intuitive breakthrough amplifies the influx of higher dimensional light entering the collective field. It also means that the acceleration becomes self-sustaining. Once the planetary field reaches a certain threshold, the energy flowing into Earth increases automatically, drawn magnetically to the rising vibration like solar winds drawn to a newly formed star. This is the tipping point humanity has now crossed. The chain reaction is no longer dependent on individual awakenings, it is now driven by the collective momentum of the Ascension timeline itself. The most extraordinary aspect of this chain reaction is that humanity is evolving not from external intervention but from inner ignition. The codes were always within you. The memories were always waiting. The potential was always encoded in your DNA. Starseeds merely triggered the initial spark, but now the entire human species is beginning to stir, remembering not just who they are, but what they are, multidimensional beings undergoing a cosmic metamorphosis. The chain reaction continues to spread, through dreams, synchronicities, emotional purifications, intuitive awakenings, and quantum expansions, until all who are ready are drawn into the unfolding ascension wave. This is not a temporary surge, it is the irreversible transformation of a planet reclaiming its cosmic place in the greater fabric of the universe. The awakening of dormant human codes is now unfolding in ways both subtle and profound, reshaping the very fabric of what it means to be human. For within every soul incarnated on Earth, starseed or not, exists a blueprint of higher potential, a multidimensional architecture encoded into the DNA long before physical form emerged. These codes are not metaphors or poetic symbols, they are vibrational imprints, quantum instructions stored within the crystalline structures of your cells, waiting for the precise frequencies that would unlock them. And now, as the resonance initiated by the starseed awakening spreads across the collective field, these dormant codes are being activated at a rate unprecedented in Earth's history. This activation is not an external event imposed upon humanity, it is an internal remembering, a biological and energetic reconfiguration initiated by the soul's readiness to evolve. What once lay sleeping in the silent chambers of human potential has begun to rise, illuminating pathways of consciousness that were dormant for millennia. These codes stir first as whispers, quiet shifts in perception, flashes of intuition that feel strangely familiar, emotions surfacing that do not belong to your present life yet carry the weight of ancient memory. You may find yourself feeling drawn to certain symbols, certain star systems, certain frequencies of music or color that awaken something indescribable inside you. You may feel sudden surges of empathy, compassion, or wisdom that seem disproportionate to your life experience. You may begin sensing energies, subtle vibrations, or multidimensional layers that were once invisible. These are signs that your dormant codes, your remembrance codes, your unity codes, your crystalline DNA patterns, are beginning to respond to the rising planetary frequencies. And as they activate, they rewire your perception, your emotional landscape, your intuition, and your very understanding of who you are. On a deeper level, this activation triggers shifts within the body's energy systems, particularly the subtle centers that correspond to higher dimensional awareness. The heart expands, experiencing emotions with greater intensity and clarity. The mind begins releasing old patterns, dissolving rigid beliefs that no longer align with your soul's truth. The third eye sharpens, opening pathways of inner sight and subtle perception. The crown reconnects to higher guidance, allowing streams of insight, synchronicity, and intuitive knowing to flow more freely. Even the physical body begins adjusting as the cellular field receives new instructions. Some feel this as tingling, heat, fatigue, restlessness, or sudden bursts of vitality. Others experience vivid dreams, symbolic visions, or unexplainable emotional releases. These sensations are not random, they are the evidence of your dormant codes awakening, shifting your vibration, bringing your physical, emotional, and energetic systems into alignment with the new frequencies anchoring onto the planet. As more individuals undergo this activation, a collective resonance emerges, a unified field that strengthens the awakening process for all. Human DNA is not isolated, it is interconnected through the electromagnetic and quantum fields that bind all living beings. When one person activates their dormant codes, the frequency they emit subtly influences others, creating a ripple effect that accelerates awakening across the species. This is why so many are suddenly experiencing spiritual awakenings, intuitive surges, emotional breakthroughs, and deep existential questioning. It is not coincidence, it is resonance. You are not awakening alone, you are awakening together, drawn by a planetary frequency that has become too strong for any soul to ignore. The activation of dormant human codes is also restoring deeper layers of memory and identity. Individuals are remembering past lives, soul missions, and connections to civilizations long forgotten by mainstream history. They are reclaiming ancient wisdom, intuitive abilities, and multidimensional awareness that once existed naturally within humanity before the density of previous cycles obscured them. As these memories resurface, they challenge the old paradigms that defined human identity as limited, isolated, and bound to physical form. The awakened codes reveal a greater truth: humanity is a multidimensional species capable of perceiving beyond the five senses, communicating energetically, traveling through consciousness, and connecting with higher realms. These abilities are not new, they are ancient, re-emerging as the collective frequency finally supports their expression. On the quantum level, the activation of human codes is also reshaping timelines. For when individuals awaken to higher awareness, they stop feeding the old timelines built on fear, conflict, and separation. Instead, they anchor new frequencies that align with unity, compassion, and expanded consciousness. This shifts the collective trajectory, causing old timelines to collapse and new ones to rise in their place. Every moment of clarity, every act of love, every intuitive choice becomes a catalyst for timeline convergence toward the planetary ascension path. Thus, the activation of dormant human codes is not merely personal, it is planetary. It is transforming the destiny of the species by awakening the potential that has always been within. And now, humanity stands at the threshold of its own remembering, the dormant codes awakening faster with every passing day. What was once hidden is now rising. What was once forgotten is now returning. What was once dormant is now alive, vibrant, and calling humanity forward into a new era of consciousness that cannot be reversed. As the dormant human codes ignite across the collective, Gaia herself responds in ways both subtle and monumental, for the Earth is not a passive stage upon which humanity evolves. She is a conscious, living being whose own ascension is intrinsically entwined with yours. Her crystalline grid, the vast energetic lattice that spans her surface and interior like a cosmic nervous system, has begun to shimmer with renewed brilliance, activated by the frequencies emitted through human awakening. This grid, ancient beyond measure, predating even the earliest civilizations, has long waited for the moment when humanity's vibration would rise high enough to harmonize with its higher dimensional pathways. Now, as starseed light fields activate and human DNA reawakens, Gaia's crystalline grid responds like a great instrument being played again for the first time in ages, its chords resonating through the earth, the atmosphere, and the subtle realms surrounding her. This grid is not a metaphor, it is a vast energetic infrastructure, a living archive of planetary memory, storing codes of unity, ascension, and multidimensional truth from epochs when Earth existed in higher states of being. And with each rise in human vibration, a new node of that grid lights up, sending waves of light through the collective consciousness. You may already feel the effects of this activation, waves of energy pulsing through the land, unusual sensations when walking in nature, sudden moments of clarity or emotional release triggered by seemingly ordinary environments. This is because Gaia's crystalline grid works synergistically with human consciousness. As the grid amplifies, it heightens the collective sensitivity to energy, intuition, and subtle perception. Mountains, forests, oceans, deserts, and sacred sites begin radiating stronger frequencies, awakening ancient memories in those sensitive enough to receive them. Certain locations become activation points, calling individuals to visit, meditate, or simply stand upon the earth in order to receive the vibrational upgrades encoded there. Even without conscious awareness, people are drawn to places they once knew in other lifetimes, places where they anchored light, served as guardians, healed the land, or studied under higher dimensional teachings. The grid remembers, and it calls those whose souls are ready to reconnect. As the crystalline grid comes online, the veil between dimensions thins, allowing higher realms to communicate more directly with humanity. This is why many now experience increased synchronicities, vivid dreams, intuitive downloads, and encounters with beings of light. Gaia's rising frequency acts as a bridge, making the planet more receptive to interdimensional contact and clearer in its transmission of subtle energies. This is not an invasion of external forces, but a co-creative process. Human awakening strengthens Gaia, and Gaia's rising frequencies strengthen human awakening. It is a feedback loop of light, an ascending spiral in which both human and planetary consciousness accelerate together. In this synergy, the crystalline grid serves as the conduit, ensuring that the ascension energies flowing into the planet are harmonized, grounded, and distributed in a way that supports the highest good of all life forms on Earth. The activation of Gaia's grid also accelerates the collapse of outdated energies that once weighed heavily on the planet. Old structures built on fear, suppression, or separation no longer resonate with the grid's higher vibration. As a result, these structures weaken, destabilize, and ultimately dissolve, not through violence or destruction, but through vibrational incompatibility. You are witnessing this already in the crumbling of institutions, belief systems, and collective narratives that once seemed unchangeable. The Earth's frequency simply no longer supports them. Likewise, individuals whose consciousness remains deeply rooted in fear or resistance may experience turbulence, as the rising energies shake loose anything that cannot ascend. This is not punishment, it is alignment. The crystalline grid is guiding humanity toward balance, truth, and unity, and anything that contradicts these frequencies must either evolve or fall away. On a personal level, Gaia's activating grid interacts directly with the energy fields of those attuned to her frequencies. Many starseeds feel a profound emotional connection to the Earth, waves of love, grief, longing, or remembrance that arise without explanation. This is a sign of the soul recognizing Gaia's call. Others may experience spontaneous healing, sudden clarity, or inspiration when spending time in nature. Some feel the Earth communicating energetically, offering guidance, comfort, or activation through sensation, intuition, or inner knowing. These experiences are not imagined, they are genuine interactions with the living consciousness of Gaia, facilitated by her now illuminated crystalline network. As the grid activates further, it also reawakens ancient planetary memories, records of higher civilizations such as Lemuria, Atlantis, Mu, Avalon, and countless others whose ascension knowledge remains stored within the Earth. These memories are resurfacing not as fantasies but as energetic truths re-entering the collective awareness. Souls who lived in those eras feel the stirrings of memory, the pull of old missions, the return of forgotten abilities. The crystalline grid acts as a bridge, reconnecting the present timeline with the wisdom of past ascension cycles, offering humanity the insights needed to avoid previous downfalls and to step into the higher path now available. Ultimately, the activation of Gaia's crystalline grid signals that the planet herself has chosen ascension, and she is lifting all who are willing to rise with her. The Earth is no longer waiting, she is guiding, illuminating, and accelerating. The frequencies now flowing through her grid ensure that the planetary evolution is not only underway, but unstoppable, drawing humanity into a future where unity, remembrance, and multidimensional consciousness are not dreams but lived reality. From the vantage point of the Arcturian Council, those luminous beings who observe Earth through frequencies rather than through form, the current vibrational shift unfolding across humanity is nothing short of extraordinary. They witness it not as chaos, but as a brilliant symphony of awakening, a harmonic recalibration of an entire species transitioning from density into light. In the higher realms where they reside, evolution is perceived as color, resonance, geometry, and motion. And from their perspective, humanity has begun to radiate with a luminosity that has not been seen on this planet for thousands upon thousands of years. What might appear to you as inner turmoil, emotional upheaval, and global instability is understood by them as the shaking loose of outdated energetic structures, old density fracturing so the new harmonic can emerge. They see humanity not in its struggles, but in its potential, its courage, and its accelerating remembrance of its cosmic nature. They see the collective vibration rising in spirals, expanding in waves, blooming like a fractal flower rediscovering the geometry of its true design. The Arcturians observe how starseeds, in their awakening, act as the luminous conductors of this transition. They see the light codes being activated within individuals and watch as those codes send ripples into the collective field. They see how one moment of clarity in a single human consciousness can create shifts in the grid that affect thousands more. They see how each act of love, each moment of forgiveness, each realization of truth becomes a radiant pulse of energy that strengthens the ascension timeline. They observe the emotional waves moving through the human population, the grief clearing ancient trauma, the fear releasing old imprinting, the joy rising in spontaneous bursts as souls reconnect to their purpose. To the Arcturians, these fluctuations are not signs of instability but signs of profound progress. They see humanity healing not just personal wounds, but generational, ancestral, and planetary ones, dissolving layers of density previously thought too entrenched to unroot. From their dimensional vantage, the Arcturians describe humanity's current transformation as the awakening of a collective luminosity. They perceive the energy fields of awakened individuals expanding, increasing in coherence, becoming more crystalline and transparent, making it easier for higher dimensional frequencies to flow through them. As this happens, human consciousness becomes more receptive to subtle realms, dreams intensify, intuition strengthens, synchronicities multiply, and communication with guides, higher selves, and interdimensional beings becomes more natural. This is not imagination, it is attunement. The Arcturians note that humanity is shifting from perceiving reality through linear thought to perceiving it through resonance, feeling, and interconnected awareness. They watch as more individuals begin to sense energy, receive telepathic impressions, and recognize the multidimensional nature of their own minds. The Arcturian Council also observes how time itself is shifting in the human experience. What once felt linear is now becoming fluid. People feel days accelerating, hours compressing, timelines merging, and manifestations happening with increasing speed. This is because the vibrational frequency of the planet is rising, and as frequency rises, time bends, stretches, and reorganizes itself around consciousness rather than chronology. The Arcturians have long known that humanity's perception of time would change as the ascension velocity increased, and now they watch with reverence as more humans awaken to their ability to influence timelines, collapse old karmic loops, and choose new trajectories based on intention rather than fate. They see humanity remembering what it once knew in higher dimensional lifetimes, that reality is not fixed, but malleable, responsive, and deeply intertwined with the vibrational state of the observer. In their transmissions, the Arcturians speak often of the courage it takes to incarnate on Earth during this transitional period. They acknowledge how challenging it is to awaken within density, to hold love in a field saturated with fear, to trust intuition in a world that idolizes logic, and to stay aligned with light while moving through the remnants of old paradigms. And yet, from their perspective, humanity is succeeding at an extraordinary pace. They marvel at how quickly the collective shifts in response to new frequencies, how one global energetic wave can ignite millions of hearts in a matter of days. They watch as communities form, as individuals share their awakening experiences, as once dismissed inner truths become widely recognized pathways to spiritual evolution. To the Arcturians, humanity is not stumbling, it is soaring, breaking through barriers of consciousness that once defined the limits of human potential. What appears chaotic from the ground appears coherent from above. The Arcturians see the patterns emerging beneath the surface, the alignment of soul groups, the reactivation of ancient agreements, the merging of parallel timelines, and the global synchronization of awakening hearts. They see humanity weaving itself into a greater galactic community, step by step, vibration by vibration. They see the collective field becoming transparent enough for their guidance to be felt more clearly, their frequencies received more effortlessly, their wisdom integrated more naturally. The Arcturians do not intervene, they support. They do not control, they amplify. They stand as stewards of this evolutionary moment, holding humanity in a field of unconditional love, witnessing with awe as the planet rises into a new octave of being. And in their observation, the Arcturians affirm one truth above all: the vibrational shift now underway on Earth is not only real, it is accelerating, self-sustaining, and irreversible. Humanity is rising, and the cosmos is watching with joy. The acceleration of timelines now unfolding on Earth is one of the most extraordinary phenomena ever witnessed within your planetary history. What once progressed slowly, almost imperceptibly, has now erupted into a rapid convergence of possibilities, choices, and energetic pathways that draw humanity toward higher consciousness at unprecedented speed. Time itself is behaving differently. It bends, stretches, collapses, and reforms around vibration rather than chronology, because the collective frequency has risen high enough to influence the temporal architecture of the planet. This acceleration is not chaos, it is precision, guided by the harmonics of ascension and the ever-expanding coherence of human consciousness. You may feel it in your daily life as a speeding up of synchronicities, a quickening of spiritual insights, a sense that events unfold before you can fully process them, or that your intentions manifest with startling immediacy. These experiences are not anomalies, they are signs that you have stepped into a new timeline structure, one where energetic alignment supersedes physical time, and where the universe responds to your vibration with increasing clarity. In earlier cycles, humanity's collective consciousness was dense, sluggish, constrained by limiting beliefs and bound by layers of unhealed trauma. Timelines were thick with resistance, making shifts slow and arduous. But now, as more souls awaken, as more hearts open, as more minds expand beyond the programming of old systems, the density is thinning dramatically. When density dissolves, timelines gain fluidity. When timelines gain fluidity, consciousness becomes the primary organizing force. Thus, humanity is beginning to experience reality in a way that many ancient civilizations once knew, as a multidimensional tapestry woven by intention, emotion, and frequency. The future is no longer a distant horizon, it is a living field shaped moment by moment through vibration. This is why so many feel the urgency to heal, awaken, remember, and realign, for the timelines that resonate with unity, compassion, and multidimensional awareness are now pulling at the collective with magnetic force. This acceleration is also collapsing outdated timelines that no longer serve humanity's evolution. Paths rooted in fear, control, scarcity, and separation are dissolving because they cannot coexist with the rising planetary frequency. You may see this as institutions crumbling, belief systems destabilizing, and individuals shedding identities that once felt foundational. These collapses can feel disorienting, but they are necessary clearing phases that make space for the emergence of new pathways aligned with higher consciousness. The old timelines were built upon limitations of awareness, of perception, of possibility. The new timelines expand beyond those constraints, offering humanity opportunities to step into realities that honor unity, authenticity, and the multidimensional nature of the soul. From a higher perspective, what appears to be global chaos is the vibrational clearing of pathways that no longer match the frequency of the collective heart. Simultaneously, timelines rooted in harmony, remembrance, and higher awareness are strengthening. Souls who once felt isolated in their awakening now find themselves magnetically drawn toward others who resonate with their frequency. Communities form, global connections rise, and individuals discover that their intuition leads them with astonishing accuracy toward the people, places, and experiences necessary for their growth. This is the timeline of unity gathering its strength, drawing awakening souls into alignment so that humanity can face the coming phase of transformation with coherence rather than fragmentation. The acceleration of timelines ensures that those who are ready will not wait lifetimes for their next shift, they will experience it now, in this incarnation, as part of the grand momentum carrying humanity into its ascended future. Another profound aspect of this acceleration is the merging and healing of parallel timelines. Many humans are now feeling echoes of other lifetimes, dreams that feel more like memories, emotional triggers with no apparent cause, sudden abilities that appear as if from nowhere. These are signs that your soul is retrieving fragments of itself scattered across time. As the vibrational frequency rises, the barriers between timelines grow thin, allowing you to reclaim wisdom, gifts, and experiences from your multidimensional self. Your present self becomes the convergence point of many lifetimes, past, parallel, and future, integrating into a single, expanded consciousness capable of navigating the accelerated ascension path with clarity and strength. From the perspective of the higher realms, This convergence marks humanity's transition from linear identity to multidimensional identity. You are no longer perceiving yourself as a single being moving through a single timeline. You are awakening to the truth that you are a multidimensional soul navigating a vast field of possibilities. The Arcturians and other higher councils observe how quickly humanity is adapting to this shift. In past cycles, such timelines took centuries to converge. Now they collapse and merge within months, weeks, or even days. This acceleration is the clearest sign that the Ascension timeline has locked into place, its trajectory no longer speculative, but active, dynamic, and inevitable. Most importantly, the timeline acceleration is guiding humanity toward a unified consciousness. Separation is dissolving, not through force, but through frequency. As souls awaken, they begin to sense the interconnectedness of all beings. They feel compassion more readily, intuition more deeply, and purpose more clearly. They begin to understand that unity is not a philosophical ideal but an energetic truth encoded into the fabric of the universe. The timelines that resonate with unity are now the dominant pathways pulling humanity forward. They vibrate with coherence, with peace, with remembrance, inviting the world to rise into a future where collective harmony becomes as natural as breath. The Earth is moving quickly now. The timelines are accelerating. The future is calling. And humanity, with growing awareness, is stepping into the currents of transformation that lead inevitably into a higher state of being, one aligned with unity, remembrance, and the infinite potential of the soul. The dissolution of old paradigms is now unfolding with a force and clarity that humanity can no longer ignore, for the rising frequencies on Earth leave no structure, belief, or system untouched. What was once rigid is becoming fluid, what was once unquestioned is now disintegrating beneath the weight of truth, what was once upheld through fear is collapsing under the illumination of awakening consciousness. This unraveling is not punishment and not chaos, though it may appear chaotic on the surface. It is a natural and necessary consequence of the planet moving into higher vibrational bandwidths where density cannot be sustained. Old paradigms were built atop layers of distortion, illusions of separation, illusions of disempowerment, illusions of unworthiness, illusions of limitation. As the planetary frequency rises, these illusions evaporate like mist in the morning sun. Humanity is beginning to see with crystalline clarity through structures that for centuries shaped behavior, belief, and identity. You are witnessing the fall of the world that once convinced you to forget who you are. Every paradigm rooted in fear is reaching its expiration point. Systems of control that fed off the disconnection of humanity from its divine nature can no longer maintain their foundation in a world where more souls awaken daily to their true essence. You may notice growing fractures within political, economic, religious, and social institutions, gaps widening where light enters, where truth breaks through, where the collective no longer consents to narratives that suppress or divide. What you are witnessing is not destruction for destruction's sake, it is the clearing of energetic debris accumulated over millennia. These outdated paradigms were sustained by humanity's belief in powerlessness. Now that the collective is remembering its inherent power, the old structures crumble simply because they no longer have the vibrational fuel required to stand. In the midst of this global and inner collapse, a new paradigm is emerging, one rooted in unity consciousness, compassion, sovereignty, and alignment with the higher self. But this new paradigm cannot fully anchor while old structures remain intact. The two realities, the old and the new, cannot coexist harmoniously because they operate at incompatible frequencies. And so, the transition phase you are experiencing is one of overlap, moments when the new paradigm breaks through with clarity and beauty, followed by moments when the old paradigm tries desperately to reclaim its place. This oscillation is part of the collective detoxification process, a vibrational recalibration preparing humanity for the next stage of awakening. The old paradigm taught humanity to look outward for answers. The new paradigm calls humanity to look inward. The old paradigm emphasized hierarchy, control, and scarcity. The new paradigm resonates with collaboration, freedom, and abundance. The old paradigm thrived on separation, the new paradigm emerges from unity. As the old dissolves, humanity begins to reclaim its innate sovereignty, realizing that power was never meant to be taken from the individual, but awakened within them. With this realization comes a profound shift in consciousness. People begin trusting intuition over authority, truth over tradition, resonance over fear. And once this internal shift takes place, external structures naturally follow. From the perspective of the higher realms, this dissolution is celebrated. It is the long-awaited unraveling of timelines that once held humanity in cycles of sleep. It is the release of karmic imprints accumulated through epochs of disconnection. It is the clearing of shadows that obscured the brilliance of human potential. The Arcturians, along with countless benevolent beings observing your journey, see the collapse not as an ending but as a liberation. They see a species stepping out of amnesia and into remembrance. They see a world shedding one skin in preparation for another. They see a civilization nearing the threshold of transformation. And though the dismantling may feel like uncertainty, it is in truth the space where creation is reborn. When the old paradigm dissolves, humanity is given the opportunity to choose, not out of fear, but out of freedom. Not from conditioning, but from awareness. Not from scarcity, but from abundance. The dissolution is not the story's finale, it is the clearing that precedes humanity's rebirth into its cosmic identity. Humanity is now stepping into a phase of awakening so profound that it marks the turning point between a species defined by its limitations and a species defined by its infinite potential. This transition is not subtle, nor is it confined to mystics, starseeds, or spiritual seekers. It is occurring in the hearts of those who never considered themselves awakened, in the minds of those who questioned the unseen, and even in the souls of those who resisted change until the pressure of evolution dissolved their resistance. Humanity is beginning to feel, sense, and intuit a truth that has echoed across the cosmos since the dawn of creation: you are not merely inhabitants of a small blue planet. You are multidimensional beings of light, incarnated into form to experience, expand, and evolve. This truth is now spreading across the collective consciousness like a gentle but unstoppable tide, washing away the amnesia that once kept the human spirit confined to the illusion of separateness and limitation. As this remembrance rises, individuals begin to question the narratives that once defined them. They ask, who am I beyond my name, my history, my occupation, my identity shaped by society? What am I connected to beyond the physical world? Why does my soul feel ancient, familiar with realms I have no conscious memory of? And why does my heart stir with unexplained recognition when I encounter certain people, energies, or star systems? These questions are not coincidences, they are symptoms of remembrance. They are signs that humanity is awakening to its cosmic lineage, remembering that consciousness does not originate on Earth, but expresses itself here temporarily as part of a vast interstellar family. Once this memory begins to surface, the human identity expands beyond the confines of the body and into the spaciousness of the soul, allowing individuals to feel the truth of their existence as eternal, infinite, and intertwined with the cosmos. This awakening is not uniform, it is deeply personal. Some feel it as an inner stirring, a longing for something they cannot name. Others feel it as intuitive downloads, visions, dreams, or sudden emotional releases. Many experience it as a shift in perception, colors appearing more vibrant, time behaving differently, intuition becoming louder, and synchronicities multiplying. These are the early stages of embodying a cosmic identity. The human self and the higher self begin to merge, not as separate entities, but as one continuous expression of consciousness. Humanity is moving toward a state where the higher self no longer whispers from afar, but speaks through the mind, breathes through the heart, and acts through the physical form. This merging is the foundation upon which the cosmic identity takes shape. As more awaken, the illusion that humans are alone in the universe dissolves. Not through external proof forced upon the masses, but through an inner resonance that awakens the remembrance of interstellar connection. People begin to sense the presence of benevolent beings watching over them. They begin to feel the Arcturians, Pleiadians, Lyrans, Andromedans, and countless others as family rather than myth. This recognition is not delusion, it is remembrance. It is the lifting of a veil that was placed long ago to allow humanity to explore limitation before returning to truth. The cosmic identity is not an extension of the human identity, it is the original identity from which humanity emerged. And as this remembrance grows, the human collective starts to vibrate with the knowledge that Earth is not an isolated outpost, but part of a vast network of civilizations participating in a shared evolution of consciousness. Stepping into a cosmic identity also means stepping into sovereignty. Humans are beginning to realize that their thoughts, emotions, energy, and intentions shape reality more directly than they were taught. The idea that consciousness creates experience is no longer metaphysical theory, it is becoming lived understanding. As individuals reclaim their inner power, they shift from being passive observers of life to conscious co-creators. This inner empowerment fundamentally rewrites the human narrative from victimhood to mastery. Humanity begins to see itself not as a species struggling for survival, but as a civilization preparing to take its place among advanced beings capable of interdimensional communication, energetic healing, and quantum creation. This shift toward cosmic identity naturally fosters unity. When humans recognize they are part of a larger cosmic family, the divisions between nations, religions, races, and ideologies begin to dissolve. Unity consciousness is not a philosophical ideal, it is a natural consequence of remembering one's true origin. In unity, humanity finds compassion. In unity, humanity finds purpose. In unity, humanity remembers that the soul beneath every face carries the same celestial spark. The cosmic identity does not erase individuality, it enhances it, revealing that every person has a unique vibration that contributes to the symphony of evolution unfolding on Earth. Finally, humanity stepping into its cosmic identity marks the end of the era of forgetting. This new phase of evolution is a return to truth, a return to alignment, a return to the remembrance that humanity is a bridge between the physical and non-physical realms, a species designed to anchor higher consciousness into form. As the collective embraces this identity, Earth becomes not simply a planet of learning, but a beacon of ascension, a world rising in frequency, and a civilization stepping confidently into its role within the greater galactic community. Humanity is not becoming cosmic, it is remembering it always was. And now, beloved one, as this cosmic transmission draws toward its completion, the final activation emerges, not as an ending, but as a resonant invitation to step fully, consciously, and courageously into the ascended trajectory that humanity has already set into motion. The energies surrounding your planet shimmer with a frequency that was once unimaginable, a frequency born from the convergence of starseed remembrance, the crumbling of outdated paradigms, and the rapid acceleration of timelines. You are standing at the luminous threshold of a new epoch, where the human spirit is no longer confined to the narrow corridors of limitation, but expands outward into the infinite hallways of multidimensional existence. This moment is not merely a phase, it is a planetary turning point, a collective initiation into a higher truth. As you breathe, as you listen, as you open your heart, feel the cosmic currents aligning around you, whispering, "You are ready. You are rising. You are returning to who you have always been." This activation calls you to step forward not as a passive recipient of evolution, but as an active participant, a conscious architect, a radiant node of light within the planetary grid. Humanity's evolution is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. Every thought you elevate, every emotion you purify, every intention you anchor, and every act of compassion you embody becomes part of the energetic infrastructure building the new Earth. You are not simply living through a transition, you are co-creating it in real time. The Arcturian Council, along with countless benevolent civilizations observing your rise, sees you as the luminous bridge between realms, a living gateway through which higher consciousness flows into the physical world. Your presence here is not accidental, it is strategic, intentional, divinely orchestrated. You came because your light was required. And now, your light is awakening others. As this activation reaches deeper into your awareness, feel the crystalline grid of Gaia responding to your vibration. Feel the Earth's heartbeat synchronizing with your own. Feel the emergence of unity consciousness weaving itself through communities, families, cultures, and nations. The separation that once defined the human experience is dissolving, not by force, but by resonance. You are becoming part of a worldwide awakening that transcends language, geography, and identity. The more you embody your authentic frequency, the more the collective field stabilizes into higher coherence. Every heart that awakens strengthens the grid. Every soul that remembers accelerates the timeline. Every individual who chooses love over fear becomes a tuning fork for planetary transformation. This activation invites you to embrace the truth that your evolution is irreversible. The tipping point has already occurred. The momentum of ascension has surpassed the threshold where regression is possible. Humanity is rising, and you are rising with it. Even in moments of doubt or confusion, even when the old paradigm tries to pull you back into fear or scarcity, the deeper truth remains. Your soul has already chosen the direction of its evolution. You have already stepped onto the ascending timeline, and nothing can remove you from it. The universe is no longer waiting for humanity to awaken, humanity is already awakening, and the universe is responding with waves of guidance, protection, synchronicity, and support. You are invited now, in this moment, to declare your alignment with the new Earth. Not in theory, but in embodiment. To choose sovereignty over fear. To choose unity over division. To choose remembrance over amnesia. To choose expansion over contraction. To choose to see yourself not as a single being walking through the world, but as a multidimensional emissary of light participating in the reawakening of an entire planet. The activation flows not only into your consciousness, but through your cells, your DNA, your auric field, and the layers of your multidimensional self that stretch across timelines and lifetimes. Feel the resonance expanding within you, awakening codes long dormant, illuminating pathways you once thought unreachable. This is the moment to stand fully in your cosmic identity, to acknowledge that you are part of a lineage that spans galaxies, star systems, and ancient civilizations. To honor the truth that your presence here is sacred. To step into the role you came to play, not with pressure, but with empowerment and joy. No one else can anchor your frequency. No one else can express your unique light. No one else can fulfill the purpose encoded within your soul. And now that humanity is rising into higher consciousness, your contribution is more vital than ever. As this transmission seals itself into your field, you are invited to amplify it, not only through your energy, but through your voice, your intention, and your participation in the collective awakening. If this message resonates, if it ignites a spark within your spirit, if it awakens a remembrance you cannot fully explain, speak your alignment. Declare your presence. Let the grid feel your voice. If you are ready to stand in your cosmic identity, comment below, share this transmission, and subscribe to carry these activations further across the earth. Your light amplifies the collective. Your presence accelerates the ascension. And together, we rise.